The Ultraman series made up a huge part of my childhood. I remember watching Ultraman Tiga series and even playing that PS2 game called Ultra Fighting Evolution 3. Of course, as I grew up, I ended up drifting away from these tokusatsu shows. These shows are targeted towards kids after all. In 2018, SSSS.Gridman came out, and I initially thought it was a mecha show with some really nice character designs. But one episode in, I knew the show was something special. It's been 2 years since this show finished, and I want to talk about why I really love this show.
第1回記憶回復2人攻めコース始めます。
Hey guys, it's your favorite AniTuber Mr. Dante David back again, talking about another anime series. SSSS.Gridman is my favorite show of the 2018 fall season, even above Bunny Girl Senpai. Perhaps you've seen some elements from the show and went, okay, so this show has cute girls, so what? Maybe if you've read that the director wanted the character designer to make Rika's ass and her thighs thick. But this show has so much more than that. It has action, drama, mystery, and a fascinating villain. One moment you'll be cheering for Gridman to punch a kaiju in the face, the next you'll be in your feelings. So in this video, I will cover some of the background and technical aspect of the show before delving into the narrative and ultimately why I find this show to be so resonant with me. SSSS.Gridman is a sequel of the 1993 Tokusatsu show called Gridman the Hyper Agent. Tokusatsu refers to the genre of live-action shows where special effects are used heavily. Most importantly, the heroes and monsters are usually portrayed to be larger than life and require human-sized sets of cities to be designed for the fighting scenes. The original Godzilla and Ultraman series would be examples of this. As someone who grew up watching Ultraman, this show is straight up my alley. I'm talking about the elaborate transformation scenes, how the shot of Gridman increasing in size looks nearly identical to Ultraman transformations. God damn! All of the elements in the show made me feel a childish sense of excitement. And this kind of excitement is exactly what the show is trying to recreate here. With the help of Tsuburaya Productions, Studio Trigger really captures the essence of the tokusatsu genre. It's shown in the wacky and interesting kaiju designs and the sense of weight and scale that these larger-than-life creatures exude. Tsuburaya Production is of course founded by the legendary Eiji Tsuburaya, who is responsible for the original Godzilla movie and the Ultraman series. Even though the tokusatsu genre began in the 1950s and 60s, the concept of kaijus is still part of the collective consciousness of the Japanese people. Just the other day, I saw that there was this new attraction at Aoji Island where you can zipline into Godzilla's mouth. The kaijus themselves are just as iconic as the heroes who defeat them. In 2016, there was a short anime series called Kaiju Girls, where some of the iconic kaijus from the Ultra series turned into cute anime girls. Wingdom, this robotic-looking goofball in the live-action series, is turned into this cute Mega Neko, and it's amazing. Wait, why is Wingdom a robot mecha on the human side now? Wait, what do you mean I can watch Ultraman Z on YouTube officially and subtitled for free? So that's enough of me gushing about the Ultra series. What about Gridman? I have to admit that I had to go watch a few episodes of that original series for this video, and I was pleasantly surprised. Gridman is Ultraman for gamers. Nah, but technology plays a larger role in Gridman. Kaijus appear inside a computer world instead of the real world. The show follows 3 kids who are good with computers. One of them, Naoto, is able to connect with Gridman and uses arm brace to transform. On the other side, we have Takeshi, who is a troubled kid and was influenced by the main villain Khan Digifer to send kaijus into the computer world and wreak havoc. The fight scenes are quite good, but when it tries to use digital effects, well, it did not age that gracefully, let's say. But the stage is set for a tokusatsu show to take place in a different realm than the real world. Skip forward to 2015 when we would see the return of Gridman in a 5-minute short film by Studio Trigger called Denko Chojin Gridman, Boys Invent Great Hero. It premiered at Japan Animated Expo and it featured an older Takeshi, now reformed from the events of the original series, take up the Acceptor arm brace and transform into Gridman Sigma. At Anime Expo 2017, Studio Trigger announces SSSS.Gridman, a full 12-episode series described as an anime take on the Tokusatsu series. But I think it's more than that. On its own, the anime had all the features of a good modern show. Attractive character designs that make artists go insane, an energetic opening song fitting the visuals, and a relatively digestible plot. The anime's initial episodic nature is also similar to Ultraman and Gridman 1993, where each episode usually starts with a slice-of-life segment that introduces themes or reasons for the conflict that almost always result in a fight scene in the latter half. For example, the gang goes to the beach for an episode, and thank God they did, but it will result in a battle near the end with a steady progression on the plot and its characters. However, the main pull of the narrative is its mystery aspect, which is worth highlighting. In the show's first moments, we see massive kaijus that surround the city, and the dense fog that had everyone on the show playing on low render distance. After a massive battle in the city, the school was burned down and 2 of the main characters' classmates were killed. The next day, the city was repaired, the school back to normal, and the classmates seems to disappear from everyone's memory. The world itself seems to have been reset. The audience is made to feel that something about this world isn't right. All we know is from Gridman himself, that our protagonist Yuta has a mission to do, and that danger is approaching. I obviously can't talk about this show without mentioning the amazing action scenes. Gridmen have access to 4 different weapons and they can also combine like a mecha, which is hype as fuck. I think something about a big robot punching a big monster just innately pleases my monkey brain. But what makes this show special is how it uses the medium of anime as a storytelling device. Okay, that might sound like the most obvious statement I've made on this channel, but stick with me. The show's biggest plot point is amplified because this show is an anime. To explain further, I will now go into greater detail on the plot and spoiling parts of the show from episode 6 onwards. I give the show a high recommendation and want my viewers to experience it for themselves first, okay? The biggest realization of the true plot of the series comes after I watched a few episodes of the original series. For new viewers, there's really no way of knowing this. For older Gridman fans, they might have forgotten. The thing is, Gridman only fights and protects in the computer world, a world that is separate from the real human world. Which is why it's strange that when Yuta goes into the computer and transforms into Gridman, he appears in the world that they reside in. The original series made it pretty clear that when Naoto transformed into Gridman, they are fighting their battles inside computers and other forms of technology. All of this is a subtle hint that the world of the anime is not the real human world, all the way back in episode 1. To be precise, the world of the anime is a computer world created by Shinjo Akane. That is why she has the power to create kaijus and send them into the world. This is why she is described as a miracle girl, someone the whole class likes. I mean, if you were to create a world, you make yourself to be someone who is liked by everyone too. When the characters go to another location, say the beach, they fall asleep on the train and just wake up in that location, kinda like a video game loading screen. For Shinjo Akane, she might not have the mental resources to create that much of the world. She uses kaijus to repair the city after a battle, as well as to reset people's memory according to her desire. But how and why did she create this world? When I think back to SSSS.Gridman, I immediately think of what a great villain Shinjo Akane is. When we first found out in episode 2 that she was the one making the kaijus and altering the world to her desire, most of us likely see her as that social outcast, much like Takeshi from the original series. Unlike Takeshi, however, she's able to put up a facade in public. You know, everyone likes her at school, she looks cute, whatever. At home, however, her true colors show. She does not take care of her room, focusing only on creating kaijus. Girl, how do you even see with these cracked glasses? At first, we might be repulsed by her action, how she does not see the value of human life, or how kaiju auntie constantly gets his shit rocked by her. But here's the thing. As the series went on, we began to feel sympathy for her and her situation. Behind the sociopathic actions is a girl so lonely and distressed that she had to retreat into her own world. We really see this in episode 9, one of the best directed episodes of the series, where Akane traps the three friends in a dream. When Akane's desperate attempt to offer friendship to them is rejected by each one of them, she resorts to the choice of action that is most straightforward to her. No longer does she enjoy the act of pitting Gridman against her kaijus. Instead, she finds Yuta and stabs him with a utility knife. The opening and ending songs are very much important to the show. For the opening, its lyrics pretty much spoil the entire show. Go read the lyrics after you've watched the show and you'll see what I mean. The ending song is also a huge giveaway of the story. Look at the backgrounds, they are real photographs with a filter over them. The implication here is weirdly like those Photoshop pictures of anime girls in real life. It's to juxtapose objects that exist in a different dimension than ours. Therefore, the ED portrays Akane and Rika in the real world. They're wearing a different school uniform, probably, the real one. It tells the story of their friendship in real life, and subsequently Rika who feels left behind when Akane no longer goes to school for whatever reason. Apart from the opening song being an absolute banger that plays during battles, or how they use the 1993 show's opening in the final battle, the very first song we hear in the anime has a very special meaning too. It's a song called Believe, written and composed by Sugimoto Ryuuichi in 1998. We hear this from Rika who hums this song as Yuta is waking up in episode 1. This song is used throughout the series. It is used as an insert song in episode 11, and Akane herself even hums this in episode 9. Most prominently, a rendition of the song was played in the show's epilogue, as characters move on at the end of the final battle bookending the series. The significance of the song is likely lost on most of the Western audience. In Japan, Believe is a choir song usually sung at graduations, so it carries the implication of growth and moving on to the next stage of life. Looking into the lyrics, the song is not just about supporting and helping others, but allowing yourself to be helped. That, I think, is the main reason why the choice of the song is so appropriate here. It carries so much meaning to its main audience and embodies the message that the Gridman Alliance tries to convey to Akane. Yuta figures out that his mission was not to fight and defeat the kaijus that were sent by Akane. In fact, the more he defeats, the stronger the kaijus become. Akane herself becomes more and more disturbed and continues to spiral into desperation. His true mission was to save Akane from herself. As we found out in the final episode, the SSSS stands for Special Signature to Save a Soul. The anime ends with a live action sequence. We see the real life version of Akane waking up, lifting her head and embracing a new day. That pose directly mirrors Gridman in the opening sequence. Something subtle to show the effect that Gridman had on her. The message is clear. Keep your head up, King. So what happens after that? Well, we see a tiny snippet more in the official music video of the opening song. Akane leaves her house probably the first time in a while. She heads to school, and along the way she seems to recall what occurred during the series and chose to take a step closer to others instead of being by herself. Eventually, she crosses the road and meets up with her friends. Some housekeeping on the ending here to tie up a few loose ends. Yuta was indeed an oddity inside Akane's computer world, since for some reason he fell in love with Rika. To prove my point, we'll have to dive into the voice dramas that are released subsequent to each episode, as well as with the Blu-rays. Some crucial dialogue in the voice drama adds details and context for the show. In voice drama 9.9999999, I think I said that right, which is set during the dream sequence where Yuta and Akane are dating, Yuta mentions that he first fell in love with Akane when she had long black hair.
夏前の球技大会の日、空き時間に教室で2人で話したよね。
え？
その時、まだ茜の髪が染める前で、黒くて長くて。
Akane, of course, denies this, claiming that it wasn't her. She seemed angered by this because it's obvious that Yuta was describing Rika here.
私じゃない。
え？
それ私じゃない。
え？
私球技大会の日休んでるんだけど。
The show confirmed that Yuta was interested in Rika before the events of the show. Another important voice drama takes place after episode 12 when Utsumi and Rika meets a girl who looks identical to Akane in their world.
ちょっと待って。
いやいや、ごまかせてねえから。
ほらあれあそこの歩道橋のとこ。
いやだからごまかせてねえ。は？え？うっそ。なんでいいの？
ねえ、絶対そうだよね。
間違いねえ。新庄茜じゃん。
帰ってきた。
Remember that at the end of the series, our Akane leaves and wakes up in the real world. It seems like this girl has no memory of the two, but by the end of the voice drama, a friendship forms amongst them. There's two interpretations of this. One, this is the girl whose likeness and appearance the real-life Akane took over during her time in the computer world. Or two, the real-life Akane left a version of herself in the computer world to remain friends with Rika. I gotta say, I like the second interpretation a lot more because it echoes Rika's fear in episode 2. She does not want any more friends to disappear, for good memories to disappear, and for her to be the only one who remembers. So all in all, everyone is happy by the end of the show. Another tidbit I enjoyed in episode 6 when it showed a returning kaiju from the original series. Well, Anocylus II, I guess. The original series episode on this kaiju was about musical instruments. Here's Takeshi playing a nice song for us. But wait, here's the actor for Naruto voiced by himself in the anime holding that keyboard. And hey, there's the band that did the opening. That's just a wholesome Reddit moment. So what's the takeaway here? At its core, SSSS.Gridman tells a story of isolation and escapism experienced by a young girl. Influenced by a negative and evil force, she commits sociopathic crimes in her computer world that contributes to her inevitable state of despair. I really love this show. It is a faithful homage to the Tokusatsu genre, the attention to details, the powerful soundtrack, and even Easter eggs that clearly demonstrate Studio Trigger's passion in this franchise. With another show set in the same universe coming soon, there will surely be more connections made in this world. Tsuburaya Productions' Tokusatsu series always had a pretty simple message. For the original 1993 series, friendship plays an even larger role, helping the outcast Takeshi change his ways, utilizing his talents for good. In the case of this show, the message conveyed is a positive one. Gridman and his companions represent the forces of good. But ultimately, it is up to you to open your heart and allow yourself to be helped by others. Akane is liberated once she allows herself to be helped by Gridman and her friends. Sure, this kind of message can be found in other pieces of work. However, it is the way the show delivers and packages this idea that makes the show really special. In the end, Akane finally understands this message. That same message can be found in the show's official tagline and synopsis, which reads,
私たちは一人じゃない。いつの日もどこまでも。
Thanks for watching. Who's the best girl, Rika or Akane? Let's argue in the comments. Leave a like if you like this video and want more. I will definitely be watching SSS's Dyna Xenon when that comes out. Follow me on Twitter to not be spammed with lewds on your timeline, and I'll see you next time.